Honourable Madame Lilian Plumen, Minister for Foreign Trade and Development Cooperation, here representing the Dutch government, honourable representatives of the Dutch Senate and House of Representatives, Excellencies, colleague ambassadors here present, dear Professor Jan Pronk, friend of Rwanda, dear representatives of the international organizations in The Hague, dear friend Father Jacques, friends of Rwanda, fellow Rwandans, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I would like sincerely to thank you today for taking part in this official event that we call Kwibuka. Kwibuka is a Kinyarwanda word of remember. Today, we remember the genocide against Tutsi that happened in Rwanda 20 years ago. Today, April 7th, we remember this genocide in which more than 1 million Tutsi of Rwanda were killed in just 100 days, while the world did nothing to prevent it or to stop it. April 7 is a date we Rwandans will never forget. As we heard from the testimony here, from 7th April, innocent lives were destroyed. Smiles of babies, dreams of young men and women, boys and girls, the wisdom of elders, the talents and skills of able Rwandans were all nullified. Teachers, doctors, nurses, plumbers, electricians, priests and pastors, Muslims, imam and sheikh were killed without pity. In a short time, normal people and simple peasant, teachers, students, members of religious order, normal men and women became killers. And they killed 10,000 people every single day. It was the fastest killings known in the history of humanity. 1994, that was hell in Rwanda. This was the genocide against the Tutsi, and Rwanda and the Rwandans were left alone during 3 months. The very few who survived the genocide against the Tutsi were, and some are still traumatized. Many were disabled. A large number of Rwandans were left with physical and psychological wounds. There are no words to describe their agony and desperation. Fortunately, some people survived. They were saved by RPF army who stopped the genocide. Today, Rwanda is not alone. As a matter of fact, your presence here with us today to commemorate this painful date of our history is a sign of solidarity, compassion, especially for the survivors of the genocide. This morning in Kigali, in Rwanda, also the world joined Rwanda to show them solidarity. Heads of states and governments from the whole world the Secretary General of the UN, heads of delegation from French countries were present. The Netherlands were represented by Honourable Frans TIMMERMANS, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And again, this shows that Rwanda are no longer alone, as it was in 1994. For this, I take the opportunity to address my sincere thanks to the government of the Netherlands. Honourable Minister, Excellencies, let me remind everyone here that this is a genocide that should have been prevented, but the world and the international community were characterized by inaction. Even today, the survivors don't understand why this happened. We believe that no country should suffer the same fate, and lives should not be lost due to indifference and inaction of global actors. We all have the responsibility to act when needed. While it is understandable to focus on 100 days starting on April 7th in 1994, it is worth reflecting on the forces that made this event happen. A genocide is an effort to exterminate an entire category of people based on racial, religious, and ethnic characteristics. A genocide requires systematic planning and starting with classification, dehumanization, polarization, then persecution and extermination. All this happened in Rwanda, as we heard in the testimony. The genocide was prepared over decades through hate speeches, discrimination programs, propaganda, and training of militias. It has been prepared and even tested before 1994. And the world, especially the UN, was informed, but it did nothing to prevent it. This is history. These are facts that we have to face. And as usually, a genocide is every time completed by denial. Genocide denial isn't from ignorance. Denying the attempted extermination of a people requires premeditation and persistence. Unfortunately, even today, many innocent people fall into the trap. But together, we must condemn divisionism and denial if you want to eradicate forever genocide on earth. Honourable Minister, as the MC said, the theme this year is Remember, Unite, and Renew. We remember all those lives lost during the genocide. We also stand and show solidarity with the survivors. For the people killed, it's our duty to remember and pay homage to them. In remembrance, we reflect and search what went wrong in our society that led to that tragedy. We remember to inform Rwandans, especially the new generation, as Father Jack said, and the international community about the genocide to ensure historical clarity is told, no matter how difficult and painful it is. In particular, the aim is to educate about the causes, reality, and the consequences of the genocide to better fight it in Rwanda and anywhere else in the world. Marcus Garvey said once, I quote, "A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." We need to look back into our past in order to know where we have and need to go. We remember our past without being held by it. We are called to act for the benefit of the future generation in a united and prosperous Rwanda. Rwanda today offers a story of hope, and we want to show how a country and its people can stand strong in the face of adversity and together build a new and united society and restore the nation's spirits. We remember to deepen understanding and support for Rwanda's efforts for reconciliation and to encourage participation from across the nation and globally so that the story is told and people are united behind global call of action of a real never again. During this period of commemoration, we give time to survivors to tell their untold stories, as we did. We take time to listen again and again to them. By doing that, we show solidarity in their suffering. This is an important part of the healing and uniting process. From almost a non-existent state in 1994, Rwanda has become a nation of hope, prosperity, and equal opportunity for its people. Rwanda is today a stable and progressing country. Rwandans are very positive and optimistic about their future today. And the leadership of Rwanda today has to be credited for providing the country with visionary leadership. This has been of critical importance in giving Rwandans confidence, ensuring stability, and inculcating a culture of hard work, self-sacrifice, and discipline that has moved the country from the darkest period of our history and to a more optimistic future. Every country emerging out of conflict needs this kind of commitment and visionary leadership, and we are lucky to have it in Rwanda. For political leaders today, especially as conflicts rage in many parts of the world, this commemoration invites them to reflect on what we have learned from the genocide that happened in Rwanda. We have to reflect on the cost of inaction when action is needed and when nothing is done to protect and save innocent lives. And we have to accept and take responsibility and held accountable by history. It's why Rwanda today, we play our part on the regional and international stage. Rwanda is currently serving on the United Nations Security Council, and for the past decade, the Rwanda Defense Forces and Rwanda Police have contributed to peacekeepers, to UN and AU mission in Darfur, Sudan, South Sudan, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Central African Republic, Liberia, and Haiti. We cannot change the past of our country, but we are obliged to confront it honestly. The task of building a better future is on our hands, like the flame we lit earlier. Let us remember and unite so that we can continue to renew. Honourable Minister, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, fellow Rwandans. In conclusion, I take this opportunity to thank our partners who have stood with us, believed in us since the last 20 years, and continue to support the various development initiatives we have undertook to rebuild our country. The Dutch government has been with us since the last 19 years. We have no word to express our gratitude today for being with us for the last 19 years. I would like to thank you all present here this afternoon for your presence and support. Special thanks to Honourable Minister Plumen for having accepted to be our guest of honor and keynote speaker today. My special thanks to His Excellency Carlos Gomez, Ambassador of Nicaragua, and our Dean of the Diplomatic Corps for accepting to be with us and addressing the audience today. I want also to thank our host today, the Mayor and the City of The Hague, for providing us with this beautiful facility for our event and for assisting us to organize a memorable walk to remember that had just ended before we came here. I thank you very much, and I hope you stay with Rwanda in our journey to development. I thank you very much.